Bernie has been red hot.
I think about hitting the ball at musical notes.
And you can almost hear the slow jazz tune playing in his head as he's going out on the field.
Bernie Williams.
He's out there so much that you don't think he's on your planet.
You know, I wander around and my mind gets, you know, getting ready for the game.
A lot of people think that Bernie sometimes a little too laid back.
Burn, baby, burn.
But he's a hell of a competitor.
See ya.
It's part of who I am, I guess.
Center field at Yankee Stadium has always been considered hallowed ground. So when Bernie Williams was enshrined in Monument Park back in 2015, he joined two of the greatest Yankees that ever played center field.
Bernie is like Joe DiMaggio, the kind of leader that Joe DiMaggio was. He leads by example and by dignity and the way he carries himself.
Bernie Williams takes it very seriously that he is standing in the same place that Joe DiMaggio stood. It's very important to him that he is going to be the link to the next generation. He knows where he is.
Yes, it's true. Bernie swings a mean bat from the right side of the plate, much like the Yankee Clipper did in his day. But Bernie also takes a mighty cut from the left side. And that inevitably invites still another comparison to the past.
You're going to say a lot of the things that people might have said about Mickey Mantle. You would expect him to hit 350, hit 50 home runs every year, never have a ball hit over his head. Someday you're going to look back at Bernie Williams and you're going to look at somebody else out there in center field and you're going to say, you know, he's pretty good, but he's not Bernie Williams.
When you say center field with the Yankees, that's the position of royalty. And I think Bernie is very well aware of what he's a part of, and I think that he worships his role in that.
I never take it for granted. Every time I step out there, I know that I am part of something bigger than me and bigger than everything that I could expect. You know, I'm part of an organization that has, you know, over 100 years of winning tradition.
And so Bernie Williams took his place in center field. Not looking to be Joe DiMaggio, not seeking to be Mickey Mantle. Those are shoes too big to fill. But for Bernie, not too big to follow. And his knowledge of the past only enhanced the respect for the place he played for 16 years.
It smells baseball. It smells tradition and pride and excellence. We certainly feel the presence of whatever it is, you know, the fans and the whole atmosphere. To be this fortunate to be able to play here is just an unbelievable feeling.
It's as though Providence delivered the Yankees still another gift in center field.
Bernie Williams has fit in the Yankee organization. He's in the right spot with the right team in the right city to be an outstanding player, and that's just what he is.
Really, you know, he's been here the longest. He's got more Yankee time than anyone else, so obviously a huge part of our success and a huge part of this team.
You realize how special they are when you see guys that can beat you offensively.
Burn, baby, burn.
Can beat you defensively.
Oh, Bernie Williams, can you be hotter?
He can beat you on the base paths.
Williams for a triple. He's got it.
You can't say enough about him. It's great to have those type of players on your team.
But it's not just about tools with Bernie. It's also the vibe.
He's a tremendous person. One of the nicest guys you've ever met in a baseball uniform. And when he's not in our lineup, we're not the same team. There's no doubt about it.
Though he understands the past, Bernie's wise enough to know it's all about who's playing center field today and what it takes to be that man.
You got to be smart. You got to have confidence. To me, it's just an art. You start playing in the little leagues and you start playing when you're young, and you never imagine that you're going to be put in a situation like this.
The Yankees have done it again.
Once you get here, it passes so quickly.
They are the world champions of baseball.
To me, the most important thing is just to have fun and enjoy every moment that I can.
Coming up next on Yankeeography.
I would like to make it to the big leagues, of course, but, one step at a time.
Yankeeography.
Bernie Williams steps in and swings. It's a high fly ball to left field and deep. Going back.
Bernie Williams going back, way back.
Back goes Bernie Williams.
Williams back, way back.
Still going back and further back. Back.
Way back in time, when a young Bernie Williams began his long road to the majors.
I had a scout that saw me play in Puerto Rico, and he invited me to a tryout in Miami. And I was like 16 years at the time. I had the worst time. I had the flu. I was seeing everything green. I guess they sort of projected that I was going to be, pretty decent ball player, so they offered me a contract. I started feeling pretty good. But then, in the beginning of the spring training of that 87 season, I was in Class A. And I sort of talked to the manager, Buck Showalter, about maybe giving me a chance to take some hacks, from the left side and batting practice. So I started taking some swings, and I was hitting the ball so well that it encouraged me enough, to ask him if I could pursue being a switch hitter. I think after probably getting married and choosing my agent, it has been the best career move ever for me.
A minor move, but one that had major implications.
Well, I think I've been doing a pretty good job being 20 years old now. And I would like to make it to the big leagues, of course, but just, one step at a time.
He finally got the call in 1991.
Bernie was ready for this level. He had served his tutelage in each level, but still the biggest jump is from the minor leagues to the major leagues.
Bernie had power potential, but wasn't physically developed yet. We didn't know if he was going to get better. Finally, all of a sudden, boom, it clicked.
Going back is Venable looking up, and it's gone, a home run. That's the first major league home run for Bernie Williams. And I will chance to say there'll be many more.
Bernie was creating quite a buzz in New York, and in '93, he slipped quietly behind the veterans into a starting spot in center field.
Bernie Williams. I tell you, the kid put on quite a show to make the club, Everybody thought he was going to be sent down.
Bernie had some rough games his first year as a starter, but a veteran presence helped ease the transition. The team captain, Don Mattingly.
After one of those games, I had Cap go in the back and say, "Hey, Bernie, come here. I want to tell you something." So I went in the back, and he started telling me how just, didn't have to worry about proving something to anybody. You had the talent. I just needed to go out there and play my game and let my talent dictate, what I was going to do. I was listening to his words, but more importantly, I was just listening to him. It was like, hey, this is Don Mattingly talking to me. Up to this point, I say that is one of my the turning points in my career.
Come 1995, in the spirit of Yankee greats from the past, Bernie got his first taste of baseball in October. His explosive bat helped Mattingly to his first playoffs.
The New York Yankees have won the 1995 first ever wild card.
In the heat of his first postseason action against Seattle, Bernie cracked home runs from both sides of the plate and hit .429 in the division series.
Williams' second home run of the night.
Up to that time, I was just going into regular season games, but it wasn't until I got into the playoff postseason atmosphere when I knew what it was all about. It doesn't matter how much money you make, how much fame you have, whatever. If you play baseball, that's where you want to be.
With some key additions to the lineup in '96, the Yankees returned to the postseason, and Bernie led the way.
He single-handedly beat the Texas Rangers a few years ago, all by...
Bernie struck fear deep in the heart of Texas.
He was unconscious that whole series, just hitting everything.
Back it goes, back. Gone! Opposite field home run, and Williams got it all. Second home run of the game, Bernie Williams.
Man, the MVP.
Against Baltimore in the championship series, Bernie kicked things off in dramatic fashion with some 11th inning heroics in Game 1.
I had just a little feeling that I was going to be a factor in a game at some point. You know, I was leading off the inning.
And it's Bernie Williams.
The game was tied, and we were, playing just to win.
Switch hitter turned around to the right side against Myers.
To me, it was just a matter of being foul or fair.
It's mighty high. It's mighty far. And good night. The Yankees come from behind and win it 5-4 in 11.
At that moment, I'm just going through the whole thing without even thinking about it.
Then in Game 6 of the World Series, Bernie helped shut the door on the Atlanta Braves.
Into right center, base hit. Here comes Jeter.
For the first time since '78, the Yankees were champs.
I was here in '91 and '92 and '93 when we weren't as good. It was just very rewarding to see us just have the culmination of all our efforts in '96.
The Yankees are champions of baseball.
Being in the World Series and going around the stadium in that lap that we did after we won that game, I've been very blessed that I can record all those great moments in my career.
Coming up next on Yankeeography.
We really didn't have, a lot of the equipment that's required to play the game, but we managed to, do a few improvements on our own, from... Hi, I'm Bernie Williams. I am from Vega Alta, Puerto Rico.
Fact is, Puerto Rican stars have taken the major leagues by storm.
We hear a lot less country music in the clubhouse and a little bit more salsa and merengue, that's for sure.
Bernie respects the past and remembers those who blazed the trail.
I remember watching from, the days of Clemente, I guess, the days that I can remember.
As he grew older, Bernie idolized his homeland's more contemporary players.
From generation to generation, Ivan de Jesus, Eduardo Figueroa, Luis Aguayo, Jose Cruz, all of those Latin guys, usually they would go and play winter ball down in Puerto Rico, so we had a great opportunity to see them up close.
Bernie's come a long way since those days in Puerto Rico, especially considering the kind of challenges he's had to face.
We really didn't play very much organized baseball, in the streets and our, neighborhoods. We really didn't have, a lot of the equipment that's required to play the game, but we managed to, do a few improvements on our own, from bottle caps to broomsticks, just name it.
Of course, in those days, it was just a dream.
I did not imagine in a 1,000 years that I was going to be a Major League Baseball player.
Truth is, as a child, baseball was just one of Bernie's passions.
In my particular case, it was an option for me of many options that I had, from going to college to going to music school. However, in some other cases, in even more poor countries like the Dominican Republic and some parts of Mexico and Venezuela, I think they do see it as a way out and as a way to make a better living for them and their families. And baseball was a thing that I chose to do.
When the door opened, Bernie stepped inside.
I guess the opportunity came at an age that I was young enough and I could take the chance to go out there and fulfill my dream of being a baseball player.
No doubt kids in many countries share those dreams, but Bernie's really did come true, thanks to dedication, hard work, and the fact that baseball knows no boundaries.
That's just, part of the, I guess, the American dream and being able to fulfill your dreams and work hard to achieve them. One of the most remarkable things that I appreciate about baseball is that it really doesn't matter what color skin you are and what ethnical background you come with. If you can hit, or if you can throw, if you can play well, you're going to get an opportunity to show what you can do.
And so much of what Bernie does and the qualities that make him great can be traced to Puerto Rico.
I think baseball gives me just a great outlet to express myself and express that part of my personality that I usually don't, in real life.
Bernie is the kind of person you admire. He always plays hard and is always trying. I mean, you can see him always pushing very, very hard.
He'll come by me and he'll say, I think I can get this guy. I think I can get this guy. And I turn him loose because I like that.
Of course, baseball for Bernie is also a release.
I think the game provides me of a great outlet to just let it go and just be aggressive and be, hyper.
A grand slam home run for Bernie Williams.
He is so dangerous.
Gone! Home run, Bernie Williams. Bernie goes boom. Burn, baby, burn.
Oh, Bernie Williams, can you be hotter?
Growing up and becoming a Major League Baseball player is certainly very difficult. I think the odds are like astronomical. And even being a Latin player, and being able to really pay my dues, going through all the levels of the system and really opening some eyes as far as being noticed and finally becoming a Major League Baseball player and then establishing myself as a solid player is just something that I feel very proud about.
This guy is something special.
Coming up next.
I take my guitar on the road all the time. It helped me relax just after a hard day, and when I think about some musical thing that I have in my mind, I just pick up the guitar in my hotel room and in the plane and I play it. Oh my God. Can you cut this? Can you cut this? I've been playing the guitar for a while now. I've been playing since I was 8. But I picked up the electric guitar maybe for about 2 or 3 years now. I went to a music high school in 9th grade. From 9th to my senior year, we mostly played classical stuff and learned the basics of how to read music and stuff like that. But now I'm getting into the blues and the jazzy thing and rock and roll. Along the way, baseball came.
Bernie hit a bullet.
That was it for the guitar career. Obviously, you need rhythm to play an instrument, and you need rhythm to play baseball. Everything, it moves, with a certain rhythm. Your timing, everything has to be perfect. You can't hit in the middle of the pitch, call timeout to say do over. You strike out with bases loaded. You can't just move it back and play it back.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be very cool. I would be a great hitter if I was able to do that.
Yankees, 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 they win all the games. Yankees, 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 Yankees.
Yeah, they always, tell me to shut up. So I'm always like, one of these days, I'm going to be good enough, and I'm going to play a lot, in front of a lot of people.
Bernie got that chance when Mark Anthony invited him to play with his band at the 2000 All-Star Game.
1, 2, 3, 4.
In the face of all that he'd encountered on the baseball field, the pressure, the tension, the World Series games, this was Bernie's biggest stage.
Playing before the baseball game is much more relaxing. Yeah, you do it just to think about something else rather than baseball. This, it's much different. You're going out there to perform. You got one shot to do it right, so it is, a lot more nervous.
As a special treat, I'm going to bring up a fellow Boricua, a good friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, on guitar, Bernie Williams.
It was almost like, going in the 9th inning, with bases loaded, try to, hit the ball hard.
can't describe it.
Bernie's passion for music continued after he hung up the spikes. He attended Manhattan School of Music to master his craft.
I think the way that I am, I'll probably just try to be the best. Because probably the same thing that happened with baseball. I probably won't let it go until I get it right.
He has the will to win, the drive to succeed. Fact is, no one in the game is more serious than Bernie. At least that's what we thought, until we put a microphone on him.
How you doing today, man?
You ready to roll?
We're ready to roll. Vamonos! Gee, I got a mic on, so you're gonna curse at me. You know. Take it low. Working on double play balls right now. How you doing, sir? See you too. It's a commissioner right there. Woo! Big shot, big shot.
He's thinking so much, he's out there so much, that you don't think he's on your planet.
That ain't right. I'm the spaciest guy you'll ever meet. You gotta admit, man, I've substantial improvement over the years.
Bernie's in his own little world.
All right, man. Just getting ready for the game. Just getting ready for the game. Biggest game of the season right here.
He's the only guy I know to be sleeping 5 minutes before the first pitch and then go out there and have a great game.
He is 4 for 4 tonight.
Shut it down! That's it! I can do it in Spanish if you want. La temporada no se ha acabado todavía, ¿verdad? No se acabó. Is that okay?
Oh, Bernie's got his little brother's jersey on.
Hey.
Are you ready for some long ball?
No doubles today. We need home runs. I think jump is my sleeper.
I gotta go with jump.
Oh, yeah. Goodbye, baseball. Oh, yeah. That's out. Does it? Yes, it does. That's out. Thank you very much. Yes. Watch your cabeza right there.
Action, Bernie.
Hi, my name is Bernie Williams, and, what?
And action.
When Bernie's not playing baseball or strumming his guitar, he's been known to put on his acting shoes. In fact, he once appeared in a primetime show alongside the Yankees' former assistant to the traveling secretary, a certain George Costanza.
Gently, T, in which G, gravity.
Oh, that was awesome. You know, it's just so different from everything that I've ever done.
I'm on in, Mariano.
Going over my lines and saying them over and over again. You're the guy who put us in that Ramada in Milwaukee. Making sure that everything is right and the timing is right. It's just, it was such a different experience. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Well, not everyone was impressed.
There's been a little change. We're going to get some New York Rangers. Sorry, it didn't work out. It just didn't work out.
Well done, everybody. And it's a wrap. Thank you very much.
You recording this? Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. I have to start all over again.
The entire Yankees team made beautiful chart-busting music in 1998, led, of course, by virtuoso performer Bernie Williams.
We would do whatever it takes to win. It was such a team-oriented attitude that it was just amazing.
When all was said and done, the Yankees won a team record 125 games, and Bernie was at center stage. Bernie had perfected his sweet swing by '98, and both power and consistency were the result.
It's no greatest feeling in the world for me to have a nice, compact, great swing and hit the ball right in the sweet spot and watch it go out. You know, it's got to be the greatest feeling in the world.
It is high, it is far, it is gone!
And he sizzled right from the start.
Goodbye, home run, Bernie Williams! This man is on fuego.
come out here every day and knowing that you're at the top of your game, at least for that short period of time, you feel like you can hit home runs, you can hit for average, you feel stronger, you feel like you can run faster.
Burn, baby, burn!
And in '98, Bernie made it a point of perfecting his stroke from both sides of the plate.
Well, I think you got to work extra hard. It's very hard for a switch hitter to stay sharp from both sides.
And on September 4th, he was about as sharp as they come.
Bernie Williams has taken one deep right-handed and now left-handed.
I have enough confidence in my swing from both sides that I can, even swing at a pitch out of the strike zone and still hit it with authority.
The consistency he's shown both sides is pretty impressive.
Consistency was the key in '98. Even Bernie was impressed.
Not a lot of people can say that, they won a batting title.
Bernie Williams, the American League batting champion.
Just the second American League switch hitter to win the title since Mickey Mantle.
It's certainly one of the things that I put in my resume that I'm really proud of.
But Bernie was also outstanding in the field as he won his second straight Gold Glove Award.
An incredible catch by Bernie.
Defense means a great deal to me because I think that's probably one of the things that I can control.
Wow, what a play by Bernie Williams. He made a fabulous catch. Bernie Williams with a sensational play. Bernie Williams leaps, makes the catch.
When you're playing in New York, the fans get into it at Yankee Stadium, and they really enjoy watching Bernie run these balls down in center field. So he works very hard on his defense.
Oh, what a play by Bernie.
It really was a storybook season for the Yankees in 1998. Beyond the franchise record for wins, they also won their second World Series title in 3 years.
And the Yankees are world champions and a dream season in our lifetime. We will probably never see this again.
Nor may we ever again see a man win a batting championship, a Gold Glove, and a World Series title the same year. For Bernie was the first to do so.
Once it happens, it really takes a little bit, for it to sink in. But once you realize it's done, it is done, man. Let's enjoy this moment.
The '98 season was about as perfect as Bernie could have hoped for, capped off by another World Series title. Yankee Stadium was Bernie's home, and he wanted to keep it that way. But his contract was up, and everyone knew it.
Thank you. There's been a lot of things happening this year for me personally, and for the team has been a great ride. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I got great memories here.
Yankees are the '96 World Champions. The World Champions of baseball.
This is all I know.
Yankees win. The Yankees win.
I just want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart.
Fans want Williams to take a curtain call, and he does.
I think I got a chance to stay. But you got to talk to this guy right here. Thank you.
For Bernie, there was never any question about where he wanted to play, but the options presented by free agency left him with some difficult decisions.
The Red Sox was one of several teams, trying to get me to play for them.
When he was a free agent, there was a part of me that kind of wished he would go back to New York. That's where he really needed to be to finish up his career. I think it was the right move for the fans to identify with him and be a lifelong Yankee.
He was going around the country, seeing what the other clubs were going to offer, and I said to him, Bernie, just remember one thing. You may go, whether it'll be Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Arizona, or what, and you may make a lot of money and all that, but there is only one New York.
Didn't you make a personal appeal to George Steinbrenner because it was close to the Red Sox?
Definitely call him on the phone, yeah. I got an opportunity to talk to him, and I expressed to him, my desire to, remain a Yankee. And oddly enough, he said, well, we want you here too. So what is it going to take? So in essence, I was negotiating my contract with him.
And Bernie did a darn good job of it too, striking a deal that would ensure his rightful place in pinstripes for the remainder of his career.
You rarely see a guy that started his career in one team and finished it, with the same team. And that's probably one of the deciding factors why I decided to stay. It was because the Yankees, it was just such a familiar atmosphere that I've been just grown to love and admire, that I just wanted to be part of it, the rest of my career.
Now that the deal was done, Bernie went back to work on the field and finished the '99 season hitting a career-best .342 with 25 homers and 115 RBIs.
Pitchers look at a lineup that they're going to face on any given night, and they try and look at 2 or 3 guys who they really want to try and avoid. Bernie Williams was the #1 guy that they were trying to avoid.
Good play! Home run! Bernie Williams! This man is on fuego.
The Yankees won the AL East and faced the Texas Rangers in the division series, where in Game 1, Bernie had a night to remember.
Texas had a great team, and we seemed to handle them with ease, mainly because they couldn't get Bernie out.
A 3-run home run, a 2-run double. That's a Hall of Fame night for Bernie Williams.
Bernie was a one-man wrecking ball against the Rangers, and it showed you what type of player Bernie really was. He could carry a team in postseason, and he did, especially against the Rangers.
Bernie drove in 6 runs in Game 1 as the Yankees proceeded to make quick work of the Rangers sweeping the series. Next up, a date with the rival Boston Red Sox in the ALCS. In Game 1, Bernie wrestled with some frustration at the plate.
Through the whole game, I was feeling so frustrated because I was hitting the ball well. I felt that I was in a good place mentally, and I was having good at-bats. I remember lining out, different places.
And the 2-2 was whacked to center field. Backing up is Lewis. He's there.
And I was feeling so mad. I was like, can I find a hole somewhere? Are you kidding me?
The Yankees and Sox battled to a 3-3 tie going into extra innings. In the 10th, Bernie stepped up against Boston closer Rod Beck.
Rod used to be notorious, for trying to sneak that cutter into the left-handed hitter.
And the pitch from the right-hander Beck. A fastball strike, 0-1.
And I was able to catch one of those before it actually break.
Swung on a drill deep to center field. Going back, Lewis, still back, looking up. See ya! A home run! Bernie Williams! And the Yankees win the game 4-3.
I knew that I hit it good on a line drive, and it just kept rising and rising and rising, and all of a sudden I'm rounding first, going into second, and I don't see the ball, and I get this sort of like, yeah!
What a dramatic finish here in the bottom of the 10th inning, and the Yankees win 4-3 over their arch-rival Red Sox.
The best players are the ones that remain calm in the big situations. They're not edgy, they don't fear the moment, and Bernie Williams had that personality. So it doesn't surprise me he comes up with walk-off hits. He gets what he's looking for, he jumps on it, game over, find the car keys, time to go home.
Bernie's heroics propelled the Yankees to finish off the Sox in 5 games, followed by a 4-game sweep of the Braves in the '99 series. The following season, the Yankees became the first team to win 3 consecutive World Series titles in nearly 3 decades.
For the 4th time in 5 years and 26th time in franchise history, they are the world champions.
After winning his 4th title in 2000, Bernie's 2001 season began with promise, but was tempered when he discovered his father was dying. He fought to play through the sadness, but it soon wore him down.
He was very difficult. He was such a big influence in my life, not only in my baseball career, but in just my life. He was the one that taught me how to be humble and just strive for the best, that facing the possibility of not having him anymore in my life just, really messed my head up.
Bernie Williams
Williams will not be with the Yankees during this series as Bernie's father had a massive heart attack over the weekend. He died Sunday, just an hour before Bernie was able to make it to the hospital.
It was one thing that I just couldn't put away. You know, it was just constantly in my mind the whole time. And I don't think I was able to play through it the way that I would have liked to.
Bernie Williams lost his father during the 2001 season. It was a tough time for the Yankees center fielder. But then on September 11th, the entire nation was crippled with grief. Now it was Bernie's turn to reach out and comfort someone else in pain.
This is somebody that lost a relative or a loved one in the incident. And when I saw the look in her eyes, it was probably one of the most devastating looks that I've ever seen. I said to her, the only thing that I could come up with was, I think you need a hug.
Bernie's a very sensitive person, there's no question. I mean, it's evidence with his family, you know, with his dad.
So when I went out there, reaching out to people and hugging them and letting them know that I cared and that I was going through a lot of the stuff that they were going through, it was just an unbelievable experience for me.
Bernie did recover from that sorrow-filled year of 2001 to have a career-high 204 hits the following season. He remained a part of the Yankees' core for the next 4 years. But time waits for no man, not even Bernie, and 2006 would be his final year in pinstripes.
After you turn 35, every season that you go through, you think it's going to be your last. That year in 2006, you know, I was like, wow, man, maybe this could be the last year. And sure enough, it was.
Well, Bernie may have moved on, but Yankee fans have long memories. Something he discovered in the last game at the old stadium.
We've now come down to our final guest of tonight. This Yankee spent 16 seasons patrolling center field in this great ballpark. Number 51, Bernie Williams.
The welcome Bernie received that night was overwhelming as he took center stage for the final time on this hallowed ground where the likes of DiMaggio and Mantle once roamed, reaffirming his place among the pantheon of Yankee center fielders. And on opening day at the new Yankee Stadium, he thanked those fans in his own special way.
Well, now we ask you to direct your attention to center field as we introduce a man who made center field at Yankee Stadium his home for 16 seasons. Ladies and gentlemen, number 51, Bernie Williams.
In a place where he once made music with his glove, Bernie now struck a different but equally harmonious chord.
It's really cool. I mean, it's just kind of surreal. At the same time, it was kind of like taking the whole thing full circle, having it all finish where it began. It was just a great moment, and I mean, I enjoyed it a lot.
Now to stand out there, you know, no longer a player, transitioning to that next part of his life, the new career, it's just something that felt right about having Bernie Williams play in center field again, just in a different way.
Opening day 2009 may have been the last time Bernie played in center field at Yankee Stadium, but he still didn't officially call it a career until April 24th, 2015. Williams signed a one-day contract to officially retire in pinstripes.
This is obviously a first of a celebration of one of our more exciting and dynamic players we've ever had. And obviously this will be day one of a number of days to be able to remember and celebrate what Bernie Williams meant as one of the building blocks and the foundations of the success this franchise had. Obviously, they led to a number of championships that we're very, very proud of.
Never in my wildest dreams I would have thought that, you know, a day like this would come to somebody like me. So I'm extremely proud and grateful and very honored.
1 month later, Bernie received the highest honor the Yankee franchise can bestow.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bernie Williams Night at Yankee Stadium.
Bernie, how are you?
Good, how's it going?
Nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
Excellent, excellent.
What do you got going?
This is Bernie Williams Day. I'm glad you're here for it.
Yeah. Me too. This is amazing.
Yes, it is.
Would have never thought.
Several of his former teammates joined him in celebrating his legacy when his number 51 was retired and he was enshrined in Monument Park.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the man tonight is all about. Please welcome number 51,
This is unbelievable. I want to thank the Steinbrenner family. Mr. George Steinbrenner, thank you for letting me be a Yankee for life. People ask me, what is your favorite moment as a Yankee? There are so many.
And here's a drive to left. It's mighty high. It's mighty far. And good night.
The New York Yankees have once again reached the summit of the sports world. They've won their third straight championship, fourth in the last 5 years, and 26th all-time.
But I'll tell you what, all of those memories, you the fans were involved in each and every one of them. For the best fans in the world, the New York Yankee fans, thank you for supporting me in my baseball career. You embraced me as a son as I make my home in New York now. Thank you for all your support. I can continue talking for all night. But I'm ready to take a nap. Thank you and God bless.
There's no doubt that Bernie Williams had a huge impact on the latest Yankees dynasty.
Bernie goes boom. Burn, baby, burn.
Bernie set the tone for future Yankees glory prior to the arrival of 4 new teammates who would help cement his legacy.
Bernie was a huge contributor to our clubs. He was a little before, you know, kind of the core 4 group, but he was almost, when we came up, maybe like the core 1.
I think that Bernie kind of paved the way for the core 4. Bernie showed the organization this can be done. It could be a top flight player, an all-star player, a Hall of Fame caliber sort of player that could come up through your system.
It is high, it is far, it is gone!
Anytime you get a guy that is developed by the organization, that comes up through and then has that kind of success on the major league level, it sets the standard for the entire organization.
This guy is something special.
I am so fortunate and so blessed to have the opportunity to play at that point in the course of the history of this franchise, to be able to contribute and be part of the positive history and legacy of this organization, to be part of so many championship teams.
Ball game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
It's what every player could ask for, you know, for a career.